Hi YouTube family, it's Daughter of the Most High. The last time I made a video, I said something that got me a strike. And of course, I know the key words not to say about the current agenda, but I said something and they gave me a strike. So I was in YouTube jail for a week. So I have to be careful because if you get 2 strikes, the consequences are more severe. I've never gotten 2 strikes. I've gotten 1 strike, probably 3 times now at least. So, and then I always try to be careful. We all do, but sometimes we slip. I'm not sure what my slip was, but anyway, so I have been watching this channel. It's called The Common Sense Show, and it's Dave Hodges, and he's actually quite interesting and very politically aware in the sense that he is awakened to some of the times, but once you actually, and very shares pertinent information about things going on in America and at the borders and all that kind of stuff, which I'm going to share about in a minute. But he doesn't seem to understand the concept of the puppets and the puppeteers. In the probably maybe not even month or 3 weeks, whatever, that I've been listening to this channel, I've not heard him say anything about that. So he doesn't seem to understand that it's the whole agenda behind the scenes that determines what goes on and what they even want us to know about, and what version we get and all that sort of thing. He doesn't seem fully aware of that. But I enjoy his channel. He makes short videos 2, 3, 4 times a day, and it's all like news type information, and he expounds on it. So I want to share a few minutes of this video that he made a couple of days ago, and he's talking about, well, I'll let him just say it, and then we'll chat after I play this. So hang on one second.
My name is Dave Hodges. I'm the host of the Common Sense Show. We are the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. Thank you so much for joining us. We're brought to you by my Patriot Supply. You need to get as independent of the system as possible, as soon as possible, and that means food, water, guns, gold, ammo, natural medicine, tools, and communication. This is absolutely critical that you do this. And here's what I mean by this. If you don't have these resources, you'll depend on the government as the supply chain breaks down, or if we go to war, or even worse yet. Can you feed your family? No, probably not. You need to start now. You need to do whatever you got to do to get to the level of at least 6 months of storable food for everyone in your family. But not only that, you really should be at 2 years with seeds. Now, that's a tall order for a lot of people, but you need to move in that direction now. Stop procrastinating. This government is not going to help you. What do you get? You get 2,000 calories per day. Tastes great. Lots of variety, 16 different combinations of food. Additionally, you get 25-year shelf life. This is a no-brainer. This is something you should be focusing on almost exclusively. Go to preparewithdave.com. I'm going to play a clip here of a video, and I cannot, the sound is instructive.
Okay, so he shares that on several of his videos, and he lists the 10 things that he believes we all need as we head into, the current, as things escalate. My little white puppy is scratching at the door, so hang on one second. So I am going to get some of the food he's talking about, what is it, My Patriot or something close to that. And so that's some of that food that lasts 25 years. We don't need our food to last 25 years. We're not going to be here that long. But it's nice to have some, like if we go to the store, and canned goods are usually good for about 2 years. A lot of other considered non-perishables are really only good for 4 to 9 months. And depending on how long we actually, how long we live is really what it comes down to. If we are one of the um, few that live through what's going to happen. Um, we will need some food, and then of course we want to have food to share with people because some people aren't preparing. So he said we need food, water. We actually need water purification. So we can store some water, but the fact is that we need a water purification. Sorry, these are the ones that are tight behind my ears. They're so goofy. Um, so we need water purification systems. So food, water, guns. He says gold. I don't fly like that. I don't think we're going to need gold. Animal, um, natural medicine. I don't know why he says animal here. I'm reading it. I just paused it. Natural medicine, tools, and communication. A way to communicate with others. Again, I'm not sure that's going to happen. We can try, but once they pull everything down and we don't have YouTube, Facebook, phones, and all that kind of stuff, it's not going to matter anyway. So, but I do believe that we need to start preparing. So my plan is to get some um, uh, non-perishables at the store for the initial part, and then at least some of this 25, good for 25 years. Not that we're going to need that long anyway, but that we could get some certain foods that once are immediate foods that have like an end date in a year or two or half a year up to 2 years, and then if we're still around, that kind of thing. So that's my plan. And then again, the water purification system, because we can get water. It's just we have to be able to purify that water so that we can drink it. So that's part of the equation as well. There's another channel that says, you don't need to store food, you don't need ammo, you don't need anything, because what's coming to this country, you're not going to need anything. So I kind of let that digest a little bit, because I thought, if it's bad enough, most of us aren't going to, we're not going to make it through, depending on how badly they, between bombing us and then land, like a land invasion kind of thing. So if things go in that direction first, yeah, we gotta, you know what I mean? We just know. I mean, it's hard to keep saying it, but that's in fact the case, for many of us. So I want to prep, and again, if I prep and some people prep, the ones that do make it will find our food, hopefully. They'll find the bins and whatever and be able to, if they made it through, they can feed themselves and their kids. So that part's really good. I want to play just another snippet too. Hold on. Okay, here it is. He posted this one yesterday. It's called FBI Warns of Border Cataclysm.
The FBI has said, well, we're not issuing a travel advisory, but you stand a really good chance of being kidnapped if you're down at the border, or someone in your party, or all of you. And you may never be heard from again, and all those bad things that can happen. And they're saying this is going on both sides of the border. The Biden inaction at the border has led to the entrenchment of the cartels in this country. Now, let's talk about when they got entrenched in Mexico. What do? They go to the top leaders, they buy them off, they use shell corporations, they're 2 to 3 degrees removed from the actual action, but they receive huge payments in offshore accounts that can't be traced. That's how the Mexican cartels got control of their government. It's basically how it happened in Colombia as well after post Pablo Escobar. Do you really want that? You're talking, once they have their hooks in the big boys, then it's a matter of the police chief, city council, but we'll wipe out anybody that says we don't like them. And have you heard the stories about how they're catching MS-13 at the border? You've seen that, right? Well, what do you think MS-13, how did they get their start? On the streets of El Salvador, they were political hitmen. They were then hired by the cartels in Mexico to be political hitmen. And they hit politicians, police chief, regular chief, military officials, you name it, they did it. They disappear people. You saw the other day near the American-Mexican border, the cartel dropped off 18 dead bodies in the middle of the street of a small town. It's a warning to the population, don't screw with us. They also kill journalists. If you want an idea about how bad it could be, there's actually 2 shows on TV that if you watch it, you'll get an idea. Now, these shows are both based on historical content. So historically, they're pretty accurate, but then, of course, they dramatize for the entertainment interest. But if you watch the 2 shows, Narcos and then Narcos Mexico, you're going to find out just how your law enforcement and your local politicians are going to be controlled by these interests if we don't stop it now. It's scary what's going on. And the FBI is issuing kidnap warnings inside the United States. See, why aren't they saying, hey, Biden, we're going to make this press release. You might want to get on the right side of this. No one cares. The FBI has washed their hands. They've done their due diligence. They've issued the warning. And here's the Biden administration. The border's here. Come on in, guys. Have a nice day. That's it for the Common Sense Show. Please share this far.
So there's that too going on, but again, who's surprised? Not me. So on A Servant's Heart, her community page today, I believe it was today, yep, that, well, not today because it's after midnight, but yesterday, that she stated that, and she's been hearing a lot of words from the Lord lately. So if you are subscribed to her channel, she's posting daily and sometimes a couple times a day because the Lord is prompting her to post certain things. So she said on her community page today, she said, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but within what she posted, she said the truck driving protest going on in Canada is a camouflage. Be ever so alert. And this is within she's within her word that she got from the Lord. So, and Pastor Jerry Tony, who is the Watchman on YouTube, he calls himself Watchman Pastor Jerry Tony, and he also said it too, that he has from a couple of different sources who have connections with other sources are saying that this whole thing's a farce, and it's what it is it's to create famine. So what they're doing is making it look like they're taking a stand for you know what, and then actually what's happening is that it's just another like mirage to make us think that, you know, they're trying to achieve something important and taking a stand, and they're not at all. It's this whole thing. You know, I'm not sure if we can believe almost anything anymore, if anything's real, you know. So I wanted to share those things with you and just give you a heads up on that. You know, I pay attention, we pay attention to the things that are going on. And even if we kind of buy it initially, now when that whole trucking thing started, I was like, what? And it didn't surprise me at all when Pastor Jerry Tony said in a couple of his videos that it's, you know, and then now A Servant's Heart Betty said the same thing today. So, and these people hear from the Lord. I mean, I wish that I could hear from the Lord like that too, but I don't. But I do listen to them. And so I like the connections with people that, for whatever reason, the Lord works with them in that way. I'm grateful for that. We have a lot going on, and we have to be careful and mindful and make plans. So I shared in that last video that got pulled and then got me in YouTube jail, I shared that I've been writing a letter to my kids. And this is a letter that's about 12 pages long. Well, I mean, it's not 12 pages, but it's like at the end, I added things like the Lord's Prayer and the 10 Commandments and things like that. So maybe it's 10 pages of letter to my kids. And I want to sit down with them and go through that letter. And I will read that letter to you in another video. Um, and the reason why is because there's so much going on. Am I expecting to die? No. But there is so much going on. And if, like, let's say, for example, I did, for some reason, the Lord decided to take me, do you know that my children do not know anyone in their life that could tell them the things that I can? No one. Now, if they were like closer followers to the Lord and paid attention to even my channel, my kids don't watch my channel, they would know. But they're young and my daughter gets it somewhat. My son kind of just says, Mom, and he's joking, but he says, Mom, you're crazy, And so I just try to like gently plant little seeds along the way. And I'm going to sit down with them, and it's going to be uncomfortable. My kids are not that way. I wish they were. I was that kind of kid. I'm that kind of person. You can sit down with me and talk to me, and we can process things. My kids are not that way. And so I think they get that from their dad. Can I say that? So I've got to sit down with them and be able to, we're going to read the letter together and go through it. And then I'm going to tell them, you could put this letter in your top drawer or on your desk or wherever. And if anything happens, then you have this. And so, first of all, I want them to be prepared. I want them to be awakened now. That's my heart. I pray all the time, pray every day. God, draw my kids in. Draw my kids in. My kids need to be awakened and drawn into, the kingdom truth and the end times. It's not just about receiving Jesus as your Lord and Savior. I mean, that's, and then, begin your daily walk. But now it's this whole end time thing. So we've got double duty here with our kids to prepare them. So, but I'll share that in a separate video. I'll read that letter to you in another video. So I have that going on. And then I had something else I was going to tell you too. Oh, it's this. So I'm going to try not to be lengthy here. So my neighbor, when I was, it takes a couple trips for me to get all my stuff in my car when I'm going to work. So, because my heat's going out, so I have to bring like a blanket. And I don't wear my jacket in the car most of the time. I warm up my car so that I can just wear my clothes, and then I have my jacket with me for when I'm leaving. But anyway, so I had an armful of stuff, and he yelled over to me. And so he said, did you get that email from the association? And I said, no. And he said, and we have visitor parking, like just kitty corner right across the street from our house, which has been an absolute gift since my kids started driving. And so they can park there, and it's not a very long walk to our house, especially if they come home late or it's freezing. Now, Nicholas always comes home late because he works late. But my daughter too. And so it's close to the house. So anyway, he said in the letter that they don't want anybody from the residents, the townhouses, to park in visitor anymore because people are complaining that there's no visitor parking. Well, they're full of baloney. I see, maybe there's certain times when all of visitor is full, but it's so rare. It's usually if somebody's having company and there's there's 3 cars in there, because there's capacity for 5 right across, the one I'm talking about, across from my house. And so we have 4 cars. I have my Kia, my little Kia that gives me good gas mileage because I drive an hour to and from work. Then I have my van, which you guys know about. So I have 2 vehicles, and each of my kids have 1. Well, our townhouses aren't big. They say our garages are double. It's like, yes, seriously, if you got 2 Fiats maybe, or 2 Coopers, seriously. So yeah, you put, if you got, more cars or whatever, you put your cars in the garage, and then if you have another one, like a teenager, 16 and up or whatever, you put, then that car can be in the driveway. So you're doing like this Rubik's Cube, or, that little letter thing that used to slide the letters and try to make the words. You've got to rotate your cars. You can't even pull out of the garage till you move the cars that are in the driveway and all this stuff. Well, I've lived in this townhouse. It'll be 14 years in May. I'm going to tell you, most people do not have 3 adult drivers in their townhouse. They don't. I've seen it. I also see that the visitor parking is not always full. It's not. We have one right by our house. We have one down on the south end. It's never full. And we have a 2-car spot just a little ways north, and it's never full either. I don't know what they're talking about. So unless somebody has company, so like for an afternoon, 2 of their family members that drove are in that one or ours, you know. I call it ours like it's ours, but it's not. So it's just closest to us. So yeah, and I came home, and because I was just packing up to go to work, came home, looked for the email, can't find it. So I emailed the association and I said, my neighbor told me about this. I don't have the email. Please send me a copy of this email so I can read it for myself. So he said, if the cars aren't out by today, out of the visitors, they will tow them. Well, who does that? I mean, that doesn't sound right either. I mean, you can't just tell people, hey, all of a sudden everything's different today, so guess what? It doesn't work like that. Well, he's a nice neighbor. My van's in his driveway. And of course, I took my Kia to work. And then my daughter was already gone to work because she works days. She's a normie. And then I put my son's car that is always in visitor. My van and my son's car is always in visitor. And the Kia and my daughter's Honda are in the driveway. And we have so much stuff in the garage, and so does my neighbor. It's like a lot of times we never park in the garage. My daughter only uses the garage when it's absolutely freezing out, and she goes to work at like 6:30, so it's still like darkish and still freezing, whereas I go to work at like 1:30, so my car's warmed up from the sun. Anyway, so I've been unhappy about this, and I'm debating what to do, and I don't want to use my van for my travel to work. I don't. I'm going to put so many miles on it, but I don't have room for my Kia anymore. If what my neighbor said is actually true, that all of your cars have to be on your property. I mean, am I going to park in the front yard? It's like, so it's just ridiculous. I also am, if he is correct, I'm going to ask them for like 2-3 months of time to make a plan, because we do have 3 adults and I have 2 cars. I need 2 cars for what I do with my distance to work, and then also my van for my adventures that I'm planning to do. It's like, it's not extravagant. So yeah, so I'm not happy about all this, and I don't want to do this rotation every single time we come and go. We have to rotate, which means we're going to have to be inside the garage and all this nonsense. So I'm going to see if I can get some time. And so I'm actually thinking I wasn't going to quit my job just yet, but I thought, well, okay, this is here now. If I sell my Kia or give it away or whatever I do, I mean, it's very old and got 177,000 on it and no airbags and all that jazz. And I just started using my van to cut down on, all the cars here. Maybe I would just start van life and go do that and then come back and maybe get, a different job. I like my job that I'm at, and I've been there for 5 months now. So, but this is happening, and I work an hour away and just all this stuff. So it's like, okay, God, what's the plan here? And I know we've got things that are going to be happening in our country. So it's like, do I dare go? My kids are still young. They, if we got attacked. So I'm just kind of not sure what to do. My question to you is, I'm going to start my van build. And I'm just wondering if you have ever used like any type of topper, like on a cot or whatever. Was it memory foam? Which topper did you use for bedding in your van if you did do van life? That's my question. Because I could order off Amazon. There's so many different, there's memory foam, there's other ones. And so I wish I could try them. If I could try them, I would know in an instant as soon as I lay on it, But you don't get to try them unless I went to a store or something. If you have used a topper, and that's a topper on a cot for a bed in the back of the van. I'd like to hear from you. So my phone's blinking at me. It's going to shut down. So that's all I have for you today, fam. Stay well, stay safe, and know God is with us. Be blessed.